So if you watched my last video, you might be familiar with what this ship is. And for those of you who didn't watch it but you already know, this is indeed the IDRIS. It's special to Xenothreat, the event that just passed, because it's only then have you been able to actually get a go inside this ship without glitching your way into another one. And it does have most of its interior features available, including turrets, mess hall, the lot. If you didn't see it during Xenothreat, or if you didn't get a chance to step on board one of these bad boys yourself, well, maybe this video will help you out just a little bit. In the last video, which was all about Xenothreat and fighting one of these, I thought, what better than to get one myself with the help of my fellow org mates in the IMI and check out what it is over $1,000 US gets you in game. I know you might be familiar with this series, worth a buy, but here we are again, back for the fourth something installment in this very long-winded series, all about whether or not a ship is really worth its price tag. And in this episode, it's all about the Aegis IDRIS. So sit back and enjoy as I tell you about this spectacle, this marvel, this behemoth in space. Is the Aegis IDRIS worth a buy? Let's find out. So if you didn't know already, yes, the IDRIS is a capital class ship. The first one in Star Citizen that we've been able to get our hands on pretty much completely. It's kitted out up the wazoo with everything you would need to cater for a capital class crew. And we're going to go through pretty much everything this ship has to offer, from guns to interior. All right, so I think we should start with the exterior then, the guns. Probably one of the best parts about the IDRIS compared to other capital class ships that are available on the Star Citizen storefront. So the IDRIS has a big gun on the front, which we'll get to a bit later, but it does also have a lot of turrets, twin size 5 turrets. These things pack an absolute punch. Most of these turrets are defense turrets, that's why they're fitted out with repeaters. These are of course, again, those twin size 5s. But near the front is something special because they shoot laser projectiles similar to the Ares Ion, but with far more power because of that capital class generator, a twin size 7. A couple of shots from these is a very quick way to get yourself absolutely destroyed. Shoot it. But why? As the penetrating spearhead then of the Aegis lineup, it is of course equipped with that fantastic size 10 destroyer mass driver. There's no real way to sugarcoat this. It is the single strongest sell point of this ship. It is iconic. It is basically a chassis built to carry and deploy this railgun, with some obviously other benefits included. But this is why you're buying the Aegis IDRIS. You're buying it for this railgun. Its intended use is for taking out other similar capital class vessels. But of course, you guys being the Star Citizen community, you know your way around this ship quite well by now, and people have been using it for all sorts of things, from orbital bombardments to just taking out the smallest, incy-weensiest little miner. So if you've had enough of the exterior, just wait until you get a hold of the interior. Ignore all the Xenothreat propaganda and armor and mess. This isn't what your IDRIS will most likely look like, but it is a good indicator of the final result. Pretty much everything you're seeing here is in its final stages, ready from Squadron 42, without all of the shazazz and decorations that would make a story single-player game stand out. And there are some rooms that are off limits, like the captain's quarters and the missile bay, but we'll still talk about those sort of things as and when we come to them. If you are unfamiliar with the IDRIS, your first time round will be confusing. It is a nightmare of tunnels, staircases, and lifts. Realistically though, this is what all capital class ships will be like, and frankly, this is a good thing. You want places to hide, you want places to sneak around, you want to be able to move within a ship like this and not always run into someone, and take different routes to the same area so that you're not always running down the same path to get to the same destination. This is one of the major things I love about Star Citizen and the game design that SIG implement into all of their large ships. These aren't just toys for us to play with, these are levels. An IDRIS and any other capital class ship is a level in of itself. Level design 101. And where does level design start? Then the home hub, also known as the mess hall. Unfortunately, the developers haven't given us a good idea of how we're going to use the mess hall yet, and because we haven't had our hands on Squadron 42, we don't know how it plays out in the single player game either. Our ideas, though, as of now, are that we can regenerate our food supplies and regenerate our water supplies here in the mess hall of capital class ships. Whether or not we need to restock on the fundamental ingredients that make food and water, we don't know, but the mess hall will be the go-to location for your large crew to hang out and eat food, something that we do have to do in Star Citizen on the daily anyway. It's just a way of keeping ourselves alive and without suffering from the downsides of exhaustion. Don't worry, if you're new to the game, it's not overly complex, it's not something you have to do, it's not a major requirement. Don't worry about it. What I think we can glean from the design of this space and the way that the SIG developers have put it all together is just how many members of crew you could really have on board this ship. I might also be a little bit skeptical here because it is of course a ship designed for Squadron 42 and a lot of these spaces will be taken up by no-name NPCs, but just like your no-name NPC friends, they can also take up spaces here on the bench. Rightfully moving on from a big old meal is the place you would go to nap. This is your habitation quarter for you and your entire crew. Absolutely ginormous. There's so many beds in here. I haven't even counted, but I'm going to throw out a random guess and say about 30 beds maybe in this one room alone. And that's where you and your friends could all wake up. You've also got your shower facilities, cleaning facilities, the rest of the things that are yet to be implemented into this $700 million game that isn't all that important. As captain of your vessel, though, you probably won't be waking up in these beds. You'll be waking up in your own special room, which we can't quite see yet. But the rest of your friends, they'll wake up here. And as we make our way through the maze of this ship, you'll see lots of signs everywhere that point to different directions. As you head through the center column of the ship, you'll be directed through the port side, through anywhere else. You'll see plenty of windows to get a good visual identity of where you are and where your presence is on the ship, as well as direction. All very good game design, and I'm sure that once you're familiar with the layout of the ship, it'll be just like anything else. Now, this room right here, this is the armory. Space for you and your friends to have your guns and your outfits all ready for you to get in and change into. Not a very exciting room, so let's move on. Further along down the corridor, you'll find the most important room of all, probably aboard this ship. That is the med bay. Lots of capital class ships have a med bay, and it's a place for you to respawn and revive. It's a place for you to carry on your mission throughout the stars, and a place for you and your friends to absolutely game break this entire MMO thing we've got going on by just respawning constantly thanks to the new game changes that SIG have just implemented. Yes, I don't know what their plans are for medication or medical, so I'm not even going to continue to elaborate. This is just the med bay. It is what it is. Enjoy. And following on from there, more signage will lead you to the escape pods and another turret access point. I'm not going to talk too much about the escape pods because, well, we don't need to. I don't know when they're going to be actually implemented. Right now, they're just big ice boxes for you to stand in. But the turret access, that is interesting. Look at the size of this turret room. It's a place where you could hang out, theoretically, rather than just sitting in the turret all the time. I quite like that. I like that the designers gave this ship the space it deserved to sort of really accentuate this idea of a big vessel. I think something very similar happens with the Merchantman that we haven't really got a good eye on yet, with its main turret gun space as well. Unfortunately, another enclosed and locked off room is, of course, the missile room. The IDRIS is supposed to have a size 8 torpedo bay, which at the moment is equipped with 10 size 5 torpedoes. I don't think size 5 torpedoes are very threatening at the moment, but that could all change, and if that's the way the IDRIS stays, then it would of course make other ships like the Polaris, my personal capital ship, stand out even more. But for now, that's just a note, so don't read too much into it, but the missile room is there. Now, if you ever do find yourself getting lost in this ship, you can take a look at the brand new UI interfaces for 3.23 and forward. Of course, if you don't know anything about what you're seeing on screen, this brand new map layout, well, check out the video linked up here and down in the description all about the changes for 3.23. As you can see, a ship like this is filled with different layers. Signage, signposts, layers, elevators, layers. Did I mention layers? Lots and lots of places to go. It can be a little bit tiring actually, but the windows, they do make it a nice calming experience, especially walking up this gangway towards the bridge. That's right, this ship has a bridge. I love it. So, of course, like any big capital class ship or any ship that is in any sort of sci-fi film, the bridge is where you do all of the action. It's where you control your brigade. It's where you control your friends. It's where you tell them what to do and you demand that they fly the ship the right way and not the wrong way. I said starboard, goddammit. It's also where you fire the big railgun from. That's probably why you'll be spending most of your time in here and not in one of the signature turret seats next door. And if you aren't commanding the ship and you aren't shooting anyone, at least it's a nice place to stand and enjoy the view with this massive glass canopy. At the rear of the bridge though, you will find access to some of your basic requirements for a bridge. An elevator that takes you down to the beating heart of this massive vessel, back down to the deck, and eventually the cargo bay. And the hangar. Yeah, the ship's got a hangar, guys. So I guess it is finally time the secret was revealed. Why is the IDRIS a capital class ship and not just a gun platform? Considering, after all, that big size 10 torpedoes and all those turrets, well, that would make well for a big gun platform now, wouldn't it? It's obviously because the IDRIS carries a special function on board. Within its tummy is a ginormous hangar. A hangar suitable for various fighter craft and cargo. This, of course, being the cargo room, filled currently with placeholder assets, which you can see on screen right now, but this space is directly above the hangar, and it's where you would keep all of the weapons you'll need to reload and rearm all of those glorious vessels you'll keep down below. It's also a place where you might find stowaways or any special visitors. Luckily for you though, if you are managing this, thanks to the new cargo refactor coming in 3.24, you might find that you have a pleasurable time using this cargo lift. It's probably the main way to get in and out of what is the most commonly accessed place and part of this ship. Unfortunately, that on screen right now is not my Hornet F7C Mark 1, because I don't have one. It is a good friend of the channel, Detoxes, and go check out his latest video if you want to see more on the IDRIS. But for now, for this worth a buy, you can clearly see what this hangar is capable of holding. It is ginormous. From head to toe, it can fit just about any fighter-sized craft up to a Vanguard class ship. And in width, you're also looking at anything up to a Vanguard class ship as well. But the benefit of having something like this in your fleet is that when you want to travel through dangerous space on those massive interstellar jumps, well, you're going to need a ship that can contain your defense systems. Because, let's face it, no one's going to take an IDRIS to every single mission. It's far too expensive. So being able to carry light fighter aircraft and also repair and rearm those light fighter aircraft is an essential part to being a leader in a large organization. I myself have a Polaris for the exact same reason, and although the hangar in there isn't anywhere near as big, just seeing how large the hangar space here on the IDRIS is gives you a really good indicator of just how much space and what you can do with such a space. Look at it. It's absolutely ginormous, mind-blowing. I really do enjoy this part of the ship, and yes, the front of it does also open up as well as the back, because of course, how would you get into this massive hangar if there was no entrance? Now, I might be playing a bit of pretend here by imagining that you don't already know this about the IDRIS, but let's face it, not everyone here is a die-hard backer, and not everyone has been following the game since day one like I have. So if you're new to Star Citizen and you want to get involved, check out the description down below. You'll see a link there to the sign up page, as well as my referral code, which is here on screen right now. All of these things will give you a little bit of a bonus if you do use it when signing up and joining this verse. If you've liked what you've seen on screen and you think you need help, you can also check out the guides down below. There's loads of places you can go for helpful tips and There's loads of places you can go for helpful hints and tips too. Check out the RSI website for more, check out my videos for more as well, and check out the live streams where sometimes I'm even playing Star Citizen. Until next time everyone, bye bye for now.